What is up, guys? Welcome to this Monday's podcast. I am Gerardo, the podcast moderator, and I'm the co-host, and I'm here with both of my co-hosts today, my double Ds.
What's up? I'm D-Flo, and I'm a better coach than Gary Kubiak.
I'm DT, and I didn't study for my exam tomorrow. Hit me up with that intro.
Pull out the south, pull out the ride. We so high, upper echelon. Straight up, we so fucking high, upper echelon.
Crazy weekend, and you guys know that something amazing happened to my favorite college team. But let's go to college football, and let's start off with the LSU and Georgia game. Anybody want to talk about how David got this point right? He got them winning by 3 points, but not 33-30. It was 44-41, the final score, and the lack of defense in the SEC this game there was. D-Flo, talk about how you've had faith in Georgia and how they were going to win this game.
Aaron Murray stepped up. He was due to play well in a big game, and he did it for his team. The only downside is that Todd Gurley got hurt, but they still got a pretty stacked backfield, and Aaron Murray showed why he was considered a Heisman favorite by carrying his team over LSU and their terrible defense. I mean, he made LSU's defense look terrible because they played terribly.
All right, DT, what do you have against on the LSU defense? You said you have never seen 44 points scored on LSU.
I've never seen LSU defense play this terrible, period. I mean, they dominated in the air and on the ground. You know, Aaron Murray actually shocked me. He stepped up in a big game, played very good, very, very, very good. Very surprising to me. You know, I don't know what the hell to say about this game.
Hey, it was pretty. I was surprised how.
Georgia showed up on offense. LSU showed up on offense. Both teams did play defense very well.
I thought LSU had it in the bag with so many catches that Jarvis, what's his name? Number 80. Keep forgetting his name.
Jarvis Landry.
Yes. Over here doing up Georgia's defense. I still cannot see Georgia becoming an SEC contender with that defense. That defense is just terrible.
And they're going against the way that Georgia has played football in recent history. I mean, Georgia's always been known as a defensive powerhouse, and now they have no defense to speak of.
Yeah, I think Aaron Murray, the true test is against DT's Gators, to be honest, because that is the best defensive backfield in the country right now to me.
I think the true test came against Clemson, and they lost against Clemson, so, I mean...
You know, I think Aaron Murray's going to have an off game against either Ole Miss, Florida, or one of these teams, and it's going to be a bad weather game. I think he's going to have an off game. Against North Texas, he looked terrible in the rain. He's going to go up against an SEC defense. I don't think he's going to do too well.
What do you guys think of the Alabama-Ole Miss game?
I thought Ole Miss held their own for their first half, and then they forgot what they did in the first half, and Alabama just adjusted way better than they did and won the game.
You know, they didn't score in the first half, and they didn't score in the second half. I don't think they forgot anything.
Well, their defense stepped up pretty good to hold Alabama to 9 points, and they were holding them down, and then their offense, like you said, was lack thereof.
I mean, TJ Yeldon, though, tore it up on the ground, 17 carries, 121 yards. I mean, is he another Trent Richardson?
I don't know about that. Body style, not at all.
Well, no, I mean, like, do you think that he's the next great Alabama running back? You know, we had Trent Richardson, Eddie Lacy.
No doubt about it. I mean, it's just even the freshmen they got there. They got 2 freshmen on that team that could be playing for any other team on there with their body styles. I believe they're I forget the dude's name, but they have a running back on there that's 6'3", 242. Just put it.
His name is Drake.
No, not Drake. Drake is not the freshman. Drake is a sophomore, I believe, or a junior. But
they have so many weapons, so many playmakers. It's just, you know, Alabama just keeps on winning. They keep on doing what they're known for.
I think Nick Saban has the mindset of, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's been running the same kind of program since he's been there at Alabama. have a great defense, and have a good, solid running game. You know, he's pretty old school. I see, like, you know, you need defense wins you championships, and controlling the ball, running the ball, and, you know, time of possession is going to win you the game. And that's what he does.
Do you see Alabama losing anytime soon? I mean, they got LSU coming up. I'm not sure who else they play.
Because the fact that I think LSU really needs to look at the tape from A&M. I've said this countless times. If you're going to beat Alabama, you got to beat them at the corner spot. They have no corners that can cover. And the fact that LSU has 2 receivers that can probably tear up this defense, I see them maybe struggling with LSU. But the sad part is I don't think LSU's defense is going to hold up well against Alabama's offense.
No, not at all. I mean, well, that's not necessarily true because if they can stop the running game, A.J. McCarron's got to step up, and he didn't really. I mean, I love A.J. McCarron, but he didn't step up against Ole Miss. He played terribly.
No, A.J. McCarron really stepped up against A&M.
He stepped up against A&M. He's gonna have to do it against LSU to beat them.
And listen, I'm not gonna count out A.J. McCarron stepping up and winning a game. He's been doing it. He did it against LSU in the national title game. Mm-hmm. So I'm not counting him out to not step up. I think he will.
Here's a question. Who does HaHa Clinton Diggs play for next year in the draft? Who's he get drafted by?
Top 10 pick. He's probably going to go to the Buffalo Bills. And why the Buffalo Bills? Because Jarius Byrd is going to leave the team because he did not sign the franchise tender with them. And he is one of the premier best safeties in this league right now. And he really does need to get paid like that. But
well, let's go on that. Where's Jarius Byrd going to end up, do you think?
That's hard. I really
probably the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jacksonville, really?
Jacksonville's gonna have some big. You know what? Mario Williams went to the Buffalo Bills. They showed him the dollar signs, and he went where the money was.
Trust me, players these days and coaches these days, after, you know, if you're at a bad team or if you won a Super Bowl or if you're on a great team that made you look great as a coordinator, hence any of the past Denver offensive or defensive coordinators, look what the jobs they got them. You know. They follow where the money's at, all of them. Dennis Allen, he left Denver and he got paid more at Oakland. You see Mike Munchak.
You think Jack Del Rio goes to USC?
Because USC did fire Lane Kiffin. That is breaking news to anybody who hasn't seen that yet. But they already came out with a top 5 list of people they want to sign. Jack Del Rio's number 1 on their list. Why? I think it kind of makes sense because USC really does want to bring in somebody that's from the organization or from the LA area or has played for the team. But if Jack Del Rio's going to leave, it's either because Denver just won a Super Bowl and he wants to know what being a head coach at a college standpoint feels like. And I already see before the game of USC was ranked the number 1 defense in the country before the Arizona State disaster. And so their defense was holding up its own until they played against some kind of competition. But that's yet to be determined by the end of the season. But
USC is going to end the season with a record of, what do you think?
6-6 again.
6-6 again?
Because put it this way, if they can hang with some teams, it's just their offense that is not scoring the points. And that's why I'm on the Steve Sarkisian bandwagon that he needs to come.
It ain't just the offense.
No, their defenses came up and played good, but their offense doesn't put points. They go too many 3-and-outs.
Defense haven't played anybody. They go up against a pretty good offense in Arizona State.
Taylor Kelly.
50, 60 points. He's not going to win. He's not even in the Heisman conversation.
He's still a great quarterback, though. I mean,
I wouldn't say
he's above average.
He's a pretty good quarterback, but based on what I've seen against USC,
based on the weapons he has at Arizona State, also he's a pretty good quarterback.
But let's get back to my point. I think it's the fact that they're adjusting to this new defense. I doubt that they go to a defensive-minded coach because if Jack Del Rio does come, he's gonna bring a 4-3 defense again. But as long as it's not Monte Kiffin's Tampa Bay, Tampa 2 defense, that does not work in college, especially in the Pac-12. In the Pac-12, you see that's like the most air raid kind of offense there is in most divisions. I mean, in most.
Jack Del Rio goes to USC, they are officially back. They're back.
I think I see Jack Del Rio. I think he's gonna be a good coach for USC. Yes, I wouldn't mind him not being there. I think that'll be a great signing. He's going to bring leadership. I know how Jack Del Rio is, especially since I've seen him as a head coach at Jacksonville. And what he actually did he? No, that was Tom Coughlin who brought that team to the playoffs, right?
Yep.
Right. Del Rio actually took him to the playoffs and lost to the undefeated Patriots that year.
Right. But to my point, it's also what a great job he's actually doing there with the Broncos defense and working with the pieces he has. But Jack Del Rio doesn't take no shit from nobody. Everybody knows that.
But here's a question for you. Do you think that he's been in the NFL his whole career? Do you think that his NFL defense would transfer well to college football?
Let me tell you somebody
Jim Morris did. He's a USC.
That's what I was about to say. Look, ironically,
UCLA.
there's somebody one of the biggest rivals in USC. My bad, is UCLA, and they did the exact same thing. They got Jim Mora Jr. He never ever coached at all at the college level, and his first year there, he brought all this weird, mentality. Like he kicked seniors off the team because they thought they were just seniors, they can skip practice. No, he's not going to take that shit from nobody. And look at the program he's bringing there now. UCLA is a contender right now for the Pac-12 South. They are the Pac-12 South team to beat right now. And they're not ranked number 12 for no reason, guys, either. And he has done very good in recruiting, getting Brent Hundley there.
Yeah, Brent Hundley.
And also the fact he's also helped develop Anthony Barr to what he was, because when he came there, Anthony Barr was a third-string running back. Now Anthony Barr is regarded as the number 2 competing for the number 1 defensive player overall in the draft coming out. But I like that the signing of Jack Del Rio, the idea of coming him, because I like his attitude. He's not going to take no shit from nobody, none of these college players. And he's going to bring a serious attitude that USC needs. And he's going to be, like, DT, you said it most than anybody else. Lane Kiffin is a pansy. He looks scared when he's calling play calls. And I really kind of didn't like him that much to be at USC. But they just worked with what they had. But I think Ed Oregon, the interim head coach they have there now, is going to be a vast improvement at the head coach job than USC has right now, that any other coach they have on the program.
If Ed, whatever his name is, finishes. If Ed Oregon can win about 6 games for USC, they can end the season with an 8-4 record. Do you see him taking the job full time?
I don't think they give it to him, because the fact that they did have offered him already before, and he wants to stay there as an assistant. I don't know, he's been for that program for so long. He's done so many great things for that offensive line. He's been a great offensive line coach there at USC. And he's still, I don't know what's about him. I don't think he wants to step up to be the head coaching that he is. He just loves his alma mater, and he just loves coaching the offensive line and just doing his part, It's just, I can't blame the guy. I mean, to be honest, if he was the head coach, I wouldn't mind it either. But he just wants to stay as the offensive line coach. So,
well, USC is terrible. Now moving on to
Wait, no, I have one more question for you, DT. How do you think that Marquise Lee's injury affects his draft stock?
Yeah, I think Marquise Lee is still going to be a top 15 pick if he chooses to come out. I'm pretty sure he'll be. I'm pretty sure I believe he's having surgery this week. Pretty sure he'll be back in football shape by the time the combine comes around. He runs a fast 40. He's still number 1 receiver taking off the board in April.
Do you think that he'd be better served to stay 1 more year at USC, or do you think he'd be better to just come out this year?
Coming from me,
he set all the records. He did everything. He did his job. He broke all the records. He dominated college defenses. If I'm Marquise Lee, I'm coming out now.
Yep, I agree completely. Especially with who the Trojans have at quarterback,
Oh yes.
Yeah, and the thing is, DT already proved. As a wide receiver coming out of a college system, to be honest, quarterback is the only spot in college where if he comes back, he has to win the national championship.
Right.
But if any other position, if Michael Crabtree stayed for his redshirt junior year, does he have to win a national championship? No. All he has to do is have 2,000 yards receiving or some crazy statistic. But you know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't have to live up. DT made a point already, just the fact that he's already broken all the records. He doesn't have to do much besides train for the combine.
What's next on the schedule, G?
What's next? I mean, do you have anything else about this college football games? I mean, Notre Dame lost. DT, the faith in the defense was.
Well, I'm still thinking they're the same team they were last year on defense, but apparently not.
What about the upset between Oklahoma State and West Virginia?
Oklahoma State still had no defense. Remember that. They never had a defense last year, right? Is that true?
Oklahoma State defense is pretty. It's kind of up and down. 1 week they're dominating their opponents. Next week, giving up 400, 500 yards to there, so on and so on. This defense is night and day. You just never know. J.W. Wallace, a few turnovers, kind of cost his team.
All right. Then we had what else? What else is there talking about in the college football ranks? Then that's about it. Unless you guys.
D-Flo, Dawes, athletic director, stepping down. I think no matter what Mac Brown does, I think it's in August of 2014.
Yeah.
No matter what Mac Brown does, I think he stays Texas head coach and they go out together.
Oh man. DT's on the still. Are you still on the Art Briles bandwagon? Bring Art Briles to UT.
He's 58 years old, but he knows how to score points. Something Applewhite isn't doing over there in Austin. So, you want to win, put Art Briles in.
Who else do you think that would vie for the head coaching opportunity, except for?
Gary Patterson. Dude's a great defensive coach. They're having a down year in Fort Worth, but I think Gary Patterson I think Gary Patterson will make a great coach. I think he'll bring defense back to UT.
Oh yes, I think that's a good signing. Okay, speaking of Gary Patterson, let's talk about a team that was also highly regarded that's always been looked down. Chris Peterson, does he ever get the head coaching job that he deserves?
No. Well, not at UT. I thought you were about to say UT.
No, not at UT. I mean, in general. Do you think he ever gets the head coaching job outside of Boise State?
He should. I mean, look what he's.
Would you be surprised? Listen, USC is known to do some shit. Would you be surprised if USC got him as a head coach?
I would. I'd be surprised if USC didn't offer Steve Sarkisian, like you said, to get somebody within.
Well, I mean, let's put it this way. So Jack Del Rio decides he's going to stay in the NFL. He's going to stay with the Broncos. This is all hypothetical. Steve Sarkisian, let's say he gets a contract extension to Washington.
Jeff Fisher. What about Jeff Fisher? Jeff Fisher sucks with the Rams this year. I'm thinking maybe he's tired of the NFL. He wants to go back to his alma mater.
That wouldn't surprise me if Jeff Fisher brings back. He's also the same mentality as Jack Del Rio. The same. He's very heavily defensive-minded coach, but I still think the problem with USC, their defense is bad, but their offense is worse. I was going to ask you the same thing about UT. What is worse, their offense or defense for UT?
I think their offense is worse. The defense, they have the players, they just don't have the coaching. I think the offense is definitely worse. The same thing, the same thing with the offense. They have the players. It's the coaching. It's really the coaching on both sides of the ball.
You have that amazing trio of running backs there at UT.
Yeah, look, it's Jonathan Gray, greatest running back to come out of Texas. Well, maybe not the greatest, but he has the record for most touchdowns scored. I believe it's nationally. More touchdowns in high school than anybody in history of high school football.
No, that's what's his name. That's actually the running back, the freshman out of Alabama. He has that record.
I believe Jonathan Gray has it.
But that's besides the point. Yes, he's a very good running back there, but the matter is they can't score points and they can't stop nobody from scoring points.
They can score points when they want to, but they're inconsistent. Very inconsistent on both sides of the ball. 1 week it's a great game against say Oklahoma State. Next week they're getting torched 400 yards through the air by Oklahoma.
Right, they're off and on, but yeah, I think Gary Patterson, is that his name from TCU? Or
yeah, Gary Patterson.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great signing to sign somebody within the region of Texas and somebody who's a great defensive head coach. Mm-hmm. Great defensive head coach. But I don't have anything else to talk about. I don't know any other coaches that are on the hot seat that I know of. So I know, speaking of coaches and on the hot seat, I know, I can hear it, I can feel it from here, guys. David has something pent up real bad, and this is his favorite segment, his personal segment. It's called Opening the Floodgates. And David,
Cool.
let's hear it this week. Who are you opening the floodgates to?
The Houston Texans. I mean, not just Matt Schaub's terrible quarterbacking of this offense, not just the defense for just totally giving up on the game, but we're going to open it up on the entire organization. I mean, Bob McNair, how in the hell do you go year in and year out with your coach being just completely incompetent? I mean, how do you call a passing play when you're leading in a game by a touchdown and you are on the opponent's side of the field? How do you call a pass play on third down with Matt Schaub as your quarterback? We all know Matt Schaub likes to choke on big things and in big situations. Him and Randy Bullock are both two of the biggest chokers in the game, okay? And you call a pass play and it gets returned for a freaking touchdown. Gary Kubiak needs to be gone, okay? Arian Foster was running all over this defense. How in the hell? I just don't understand Gary Kubiak's thought process. I mean, Lane Kiffin could have coached this team better in the fourth quarter. Okay? Gary Kubiak does not know what he's doing. He needs to be out of Houston. He needs to be out of football, and he just needs to go home, back to College Station, and just buy a ranch somewhere and just seclude himself. Matt Schaub, don't show your face in Houston, because I guarantee you you're going to have a lot of people that just want to burn you and set you on fire and crucify you and stick you in with a bull. Okay, what?
And this has been Floodgates with David Flood. Now, everybody, I have no comments towards that besides the fact that you said Lane Kiffin can call a better play than he can. I doubt that very much.
Lane Kiffin would have given the ball to Arian Foster. I am pretty sure that he would have given the ball to Arian Foster, especially the way Arian Foster was thrashing that defense.
You know, Matt Schaub was actually 355 yards. He was actually having a pretty good game. But I mean, play calling in the fourth quarter with the game on the line.
I mean, he threw across the field. He threw across his body, across the field.
If everybody else is noticing it, why not get Cooper? You have what's the name? Deion Sanders bashing the Texans, calling out Schaub as being a guy that's known for doing this, turning the ball over in the fourth quarter, throwing pick sixes. He did it last week. This isn't anything new for Matt Schaub.
The thing I'm going to say about Matt Schaub is the fact that he never audibles a play. When he feels like the defense adjusts to him, like the pick six plays, he never audibles out of a play. He just listens to Gary Kubiak. It's like, yeah, well, that's it. If Gary doesn't call the audible,
just burn the timeout.
Never does it. He doesn't really use his brain, to be honest.
Matt Schaub doesn't think. Exactly. He is probably the dumbest quarterback in the NFL. One of the dumbest quarterbacks in the NFL that doesn't play for the Jacksonville Jaguars, okay? But, okay, here's a question. Would you rather have Christian Ponder or Matt Schaub as your quarterback?
Christian Ponder. Because Christian Ponder will run. They'll take
or hand the ball off and go against Gary Kubiak.
Yeah, he actually tries to extend the play. I give Christian Ponder that. And that's really all I have to say about that. I've said everything I needed to say about Matt Schaub in the past. He's not. Texans aren't going anywhere with him at quarterback. Might get to the playoffs, but you won't win a game. This is David's segment. David, what else do you have to say about this, man?
Man, I think I've already said all I need to say. The longer I talk about the Texans, the more and more pissed off I get. So we should probably move on.
Well, this has been the Floodgates of this week. Maybe we're going to have more this week. It depends on what opens up David's floodgate, to say the least. I don't know any other metaphoric or any other term to use on that to transition well, but let's get to it. Now, guys, I already locked in my defensive rookie of the week. You want to know who it is?
I'm just gonna throw Eric Reed out there.
Nope. They already played, and he didn't do that good against the St. Louis Rams. I'm going with Kiko Alonso, middle linebacker from the Buffalo Bills. Dude had 2 interceptions against the Baltimore Ravens, and I believe he is leading all rookie linebackers with tackles. But that's besides the point. Speaking of Kiko Alonso and the team he plays for, the Buffalo Bills had 5 interceptions against Joe Flacco. 5 interceptions. against
Joe
Joe.
Flacco's not an elite quarterback.
Joe Flacco just had one of those games. Peyton Manning had games where he thrown 3 or 4, 5 interceptions before.
So you're gonna compare Joe Flacco to Peyton Manning?
They both won 1 Super Bowl. Joe Flacco, he's a winner. That's all I gotta say.
So is Tim Tebow, but I mean,
Oh man.
Yeah.
So is Vince Young. He has a better winning record than Matt Schaub.
You know, I take that back. Okay, okay. Joe Flacco is no Peyton Manning. We all know that. But I mean, you know, elite or not, all quarterbacks have that one game or 2 games in their career where they throw, you know, the 5 interceptions. Drew Brees did it. I'm not sure Tom Brady did it yet. Peyton Manning, he's done it before.
the greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady.
Speaking of Tom Brady and the Patriots, they did do an upset to me.
Yeah.
That is
You know, Tom Brady just keeps proving my point. Kimbrell Tompkins, we didn't know who the hell he was. Not even in college did we know who he was. Not even coming out of high school did we know who he was. But you know what? Last night, 5, 6 catches, over 100-something yards, just lit up this Falcons defense. Julian Edelman. I mean, just look at what he's working with. They're still 4-0.
I'm going. Do you want to lock in Kimbrell Tompkins as your offensive rookie of the week?
Oh yes.
All right, lock it in, guys.
This guy is coming to him.
David, do you have any outstanding rookies that stood up to you so far?
Giovanni Bernard. I mean, I guess that's kind of obvious. I mean,
You know their team lost, right?
yeah, but I mean, like
To the Browns. How about them Browns?
the Browns, though, huh? Brian Hoyer, huh?
More like Jordan Cameron, huh?
Jordan Cameron is the best unknown player in the NFL.
Well, he ain't unknown to me. I'll tell you that much. I know about him since he was at USC.
He's one of the top 5 tight ends in this game right now.
Oh no!
We should do a top 5 list for tight ends then. That's a good list.
Oh, you want to do a top 5 tight end? I was on the list here of things to talk about today, and the topics was the top 5 receivers. But if you want to do both of them combined, that's up to you.
No,
one of my top 5 is playing tonight. Jimmy Graham. Look out for him tonight.
Jimmy Graham I think he's my number 1 right now. He's my number 1 tight end. No doubt about it.
Number 1 tight end. Man, that's a tough one. You know what? I think we're gonna have to go across the board here on Jimmy Graham because I think he is the best tight end. I mean, it's impossible to stop him. The guy is he's shaped like a defensive end and runs like a wide receiver. I mean, it's impossible to cover that.
Uncoverable. Nobody can cover him.
I think he's gonna have a big game tonight.
Well,
Yeah.
besides the point of Darius, who is your number 1 tight end?
Oh, Jimmy Graham. For now, depending on what Rob Gronkowski does when he comes back.
I think Rob Gronkowski, I mean, yeah, he's still, but Jimmy Graham's been consistent. That's the thing I like about any of the players on our top 5 list is consistency.
You know what? Tony Gonzalez can argue with Jimmy Graham. I really think he can. 12. If you seen last night's game?
Well, yeah, he almost helped the Falcons come back, but you know,
12, 13 catches. I mean, dude's still doing it big.
and 17 years in.
Thomas on y'all's top 5 list?
He's number 5 on my list for now.
I'm gonna go 5. I'm gonna go 5 or a wild card
That's
pick.
exactly the same thing I was thinking.
I'm giving the boy Jordan Cameron. This list is kind of spotty for me, but I'm going for what Antonio Gates has done so far. I'm putting him at number 4. Jordan Cameron is at number 3, but by the end of this year, I wouldn't be surprised that he would be number 1 or number 2.
No.
Okay, well, who do you think is going to beat him out? Who's going to have more yards? Him or...
Jimmy Graham or Julius Thomas.
Yeah.
And if both of them are injury prone.
Well, and plus Julius Thomas is pretty low on the yards.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the thing is, I have Julius Thomas.
He has to compete with 3 other receivers, so Jordan Cameron might have a case for being number 2.
Antonio Gates is just going to end up getting injured again. And he, in my opinion, if Antonio Gates is healthy for a full season, he's the best tight end in the league.
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it with his basketball style. But, I mean, then number 2 is Romo's, bedtime blanket, whatever it is, his go-to guy, Jason Witten. All he does is catch everything thrown his way pretty much. But I still have Jimmy Graham number 1.
What about Tony Gonzalez? He's not in the top 5 at all?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have Tony Gonzalez on my top 5 list.
I'm going with Jimmy Graham 1, Tony 2, Gates 3, Cameron 4. Then number 5 would be Julius Thomas.
So we all agree on the top. We all agree on the number 1 and the number 5 tight end, pretty much.
And DT has the exact same list as I was going for.
All right. Well,
except for I might actually slip Owen Daniels in there too, because Owen Daniels is really the only other extreme, like, confident, consistent pass catcher on the Texans offense.
Well, what about this, guys? We're missing a player.
You think Owen Daniels' numbers would be better if he didn't have Schaub as his quarterback?
Yes.
Oh yes. I mean, if you put Owen Daniels in Peyton Manning's offense or in
Tom Brady's offense, anybody's
Tom
offense.
Brady's offense, even Tony Romo's offense.
As long as he
at least 100 passes at least.
I think Owen Daniels would be just as good as Jason Witten, if not better, if he was in the Cowboys offense instead of Jason Witten.
Definitely more touchdowns than Jason Witten.
All right, well, guys, there is a tight end we have not mentioned. It's Vernon Davis. What do you guys think of him?
He is up and down.
Yeah, he's not consistent. I mean, he's just not consistent. I mean, he has good games and he has bad games, and then
He gets injured and then he doesn't show up. All right.
and then he doesn't even he just sometimes he doesn't even seem like he's even in the zone, even thinking he's at a football game.
Vernon Davis is just a disappearing act.
All right, guys. Well, then that was our top 5 tight ends list. Now let's go into some of the game's matchups. Now let's go into the Giants and the Chiefs, the rising Chiefs. Now they're over there, but to be honest, I think they're just playing against a very weak competition so far.
You know, the Chiefs remind me of the Broncos a few years ago, Josh McDaniels' first year. You know, they had a game manager at quarterback. Defense was playing great. Then they got exposed, and all of a sudden they finished 2-6. This the playoffs.
Yep.
That's the Chiefs remind me of right now. Alex Smith, just a game manager. This defense hasn't really seen much.
I mean, yes, they have played against pretty horrible offensive lines. I give it that much.
I mean, and also you have to look at it too, is if Jamal Charles goes down, this offense goes down.
I do like the running back. I'm gonna give a big old shout out to the Mo City. I'm gonna give it Niles Davis, a backup running back. Played at, I believe it was at Marshall, right, DT?
Oh yeah, he stayed injured his whole career. High school, college, might be more the same in the NFL.
Who knows? Maybe he's just injured in high school and college, and also in the NFL, he's the healthiest human being alive.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point. If the Chiefs are for real, what is their statement game? What is it against the Broncos?
If they just slow down the Broncos offense, you know, they just hold them to under. They hold them to under 30 points. Then yes, I believe this team is for real.
Okay, let's say the final game 24-28. They for real?
Is that for real?
All right, 21-28. For real?
They're for real. They hold them to under 30 points.
But how much does the Chiefs have to score? What if the Chiefs hold them to under 28 points, but they don't score?
Then they're not for real. I mean,
guaranteed.
All right. I just want to get a, like, what is it, like, they have to score what, at least 20 points or 17?
The Chiefs have to score at least 30 points to win to beat the Broncos.
And they have to score their points in legit time, not garbage time, like all the other
special teams as well. They better have some good special teams play as well, because Holiday always a threat to score.
Trenton Holiday is the best returner in the NFL. Period.
I'm trying to see, like, when he says that, I'm trying to think of other returners, and nothing comes to my mind. I mean,
of course, everybody brings Devin Hester to mind, but Devin Hester hasn't done anything in 2 years. So,
well, I mean, because the whole thing that they moved the kickoff forward.
Yeah, but I mean, Trenton Holiday can return kicks and punts. I mean,
and he's short.
Yeah, and every time he gets the ball, you have to watch out because he can break it. No matter if it's a bubble screen, a punt return, or a kick return.
No, I don't think he touches.
What else the Broncos use Trenton Holiday in offensive game plan?
I think he gets blown up.
Can't he be the next Darren Sproles in that offense?
No, he's too small. He's too brittle.
Darren Sproles, because, and I don't see there's no room for Trenton Holiday in this game plan for this offense. I mean, you have 4 people that are above average, that are even great players. I mean, a possible Hall of Famer in Wes Welker. You got Demaryius Thomas, who's on the coming up and will be one of the best wide receivers in the league for years to come. And Eric Decker, just Ed McCaffrey Jr. I mean, no doubt about it. Those guys and Julius Thomas, just there's no room for anybody else.
say two receivers go down or whatever. Hey, can Trent Holiday make an impact in his offense?
No.
I think yes, he can. I believe he can.
I mean, Manning, you got to pay Manning that quarterback.
It don't matter. He's 6'5" at that on a good day. He weighs about probably 120 on also a good day.
You mean he's 5'5", not 6'5"?
Oh, my bad. He's 5'5". He's a midget. Regardless,
it doesn't matter if you get him the football, he can get around.
That's the thing. If you get him the football,
Decker,
the thing.
Demaryius Thomas are a couple of the best pass blocker or run blockers.
But DT already established that if two of the receivers get hurt, okay, let's say.
Which two receivers get hurt then?
Okay, let's say it's Decker and Welker. You choose.
Yeah.
Decker and Welker.
Yeah.
Well, then Holiday slips into the slot receiver, and Andre Caldwell is on the outside.
He gets lit up. There's no way he cannot do bump and run coverage.
If you can hit him, if you can actually
if you can catch him. I mean,
bump and run coverage. He weighs like a feather. All you got to do is push him. He's not going to get the 5-yard bump. He won't make the 5-yard bump.
Screen game. I think he does some scary stuff in the screen game.
And even if you can get your hands on him at the line, I mean, the dude can just blow past.
No, he can't. He's not strong enough to do that.
I see some
name a nickel corner in the league that could cover Trendon Holiday.
Richard Sherman plays nickel. He follows people. He doesn't play.
Richard Sherman cannot cover Trendon Holiday.
If he's covering Holiday, who's going to cover Demaryius and
Browner?
Thomas.
Browner.
Browner would get lit up by Demaryius Thomas all day.
Then you could do, if you're running like a cover 3 or you're running a nickel package, then what's his name? Thomas, or the safety there from Seattle, is going to play the nickel.
What's his name? You got Mr. Peyton Manning, Mr. Defensive Playbook himself.
All I gotta say is, if Trenton Holiday plays wide receiver for y'all, he's too brittle. I wouldn't trust it.
Okay, Jackson McCluster is one of the most fragile things I've ever seen in my life, and
trust me, he's more fragile than that.
But you actually gotta make a solid tackle on Trenton Holiday. They can't even tackle him on special teams. This guy goes untouched for touchdowns.
And he catches the ball in the middle of the end zone and runs it back. I mean,
let me just say, you better not wish two of your starting receivers get hurt.
Of course, you're not going to wish that two of your.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't trust him even like. I wouldn't trust him. Like I'd say, Peyton Manning would not throw him no screens. Peyton Manning would not even use him that much. If anything, throw a fade to him. That's about it.
I hope we never find out. Moving on to the Philadelphia Eagles, what's happened to this offense?
Okay, you run a fast-paced offense in the mile high. You're gonna run out of breath.
That's not just what it is, though. If you notice in their past 2 games, defenses have started to figure it out.
Yeah, and Chip Kelly's being realized. Oh, the NFL's not as easy as I thought it would. Chip Kelly's gonna get fired within the next year and a half.
He's got. This is his honeymoon year, but after that, he's gone. I mean,
playing in a mile high. Oh, no problem.
Yeah. And then they're going to try to run a fast-paced offense. The funny thing is, they say this is a fast-paced offense. Did you know they're not even ranked in the top 5 in plays run in the NFL?
I think, like I said before the season started, well, not before. Like I said, week 1, this Broncos offense is just as fast, I say even faster. Adam Gase has some plays called, before, right after the previous play is over.
I mean, didn't we all come out with David, were you with us saying how long would it take for teams to figure out the Eagles?
Yeah, I believe I was on here, and
I think all of us agreed on that it would be a year or less than a year or a year and a half.
Season.
Yeah, half a season.
That's what I said, I believe.
I said they can go as long as they want, and I was very wrong.
Yeah, they got as long as they want. They went to week 2. That's as long as they went.
Let's go to another game. Let's talk about Minnesota versus Pittsburgh. Now, DT, you were talking about how Pittsburgh's defense was going to be Pittsburgh's defense. Now, tell me, Pittsburgh, did they even get on the plane and go to London? I mean, where were they?
Oh, yeah, Big Ben was there. Oh, wait, that's the clock tower.
You know what? This offense finally showed up. Le'Veon Bell came in, 2 touchdowns. Offense showed up. And surprisingly, for the first time since I've been watching football, the Steelers' defense didn't show up.
Oh, the first time ever?
Well, the first time since I've been watching football, I never seen a Pittsburgh defense just allow a 70-yard catch and run, then a 60-yard run. I mean, I've never seen.
What about Tim Tebow, Demaryius Thomas?
No. Let's go.
That was one play. It was an 80-yard play, and it was an 80-yard play off the busted coverage.
Let's go even the year before that. Greg Jennings has done this to this this defense before the Super Bowl.
They don't give up plays like that twice in one game. It just doesn't happen.
They gave it all the time in the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers torched this defense, exposed it for what it was.
He didn't throw for 50s. He threw for 60, 70-yard touchdowns. I mean, Adrian Peterson, 60-yard run. They act like they couldn't tackle.
They can.
Ray Jennings, 70-yard catch and run. I've never seen them just get dominated like that on defense.
They got dominated against the Chicago Bears.
You know, the Chicago Bears, that game was more of Ben Roethlisberger turning the ball over at midfield, throwing pick sixes than the Steelers defense just spin off.
And then they give up more points to the Chicago Bears on offense than the Vikings did. They gave up 40.
They gave up 40 points.
Yeah, well, I mean, Darius, I don't know how you have faith in this.
I don't have faith. The Steelers are done. 0-4. They're not gonna rebound from that.
Mm-mm.
What is the favorite thing I like to say, guys, about Pittsburgh? How do you spell Pittsburgh? It starts with what? P-I-T. And how do you spell pitiful? P-I-T. Pittsburgh is pitiful. All I gotta say.
Pittsburgh 0-4. They're gonna have another down year. They're gonna miss the playoffs again, unfortunately. Is Mike Tomlin's job in jeopardy? Is he on the hot seat, D-Flo?
Is he on the hot seat? I don't know if he's on the hot seat quite yet. I mean, you look at Lovie Smith and how many years he went with Chicago when they really weren't doing anything. I think Mike Tomlin has shown the Pittsburgh brass and the Pittsburgh fans and their team that he can coach this team. I just think they're having a bad season. It happens to the best of us, you know?
Let me just say this. If Mike Tomlin even thinks about getting fired, within 2 to 5 seconds, he's on a new team. He's not going to be on. He'll be on the new team immediately.
Yeah. Texans, I think the Texans fans are going to hold a rally.
Didn't the Texans fans before Wade Smith came here hold a rally about a previous Steelers head coach?
Firing Kubiak and Frank Bush, the previous defensive coordinator,
and getting what's his name? Who was the previous head coach at the Steelers? What's his name?
Bill Cowher.
Yeah, Bill Cowher.
Okay, well, I kind of have a off the wall question. I've actually been thinking about it for a while, actually since the draft. What do you guys think about Marcus Lattimore? Do you think that when he's actually healthy, do you think he's going to bring anything to the 49ers offense?
Well, maybe not this year, but, because there's so much depth. But I think next year, he could at least compete for the backup role. He appreciates football more, being injured so often, missing so many games in college football. I think he appreciates the game more. He's going to be hungrier than ever.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, go ahead.
He's so brittle. I mean, I don't see him sticking around in the NFL because he got hurt so much in college and.
Willis McGay, he had the same type of injury.
But they're different kind of runners, though.
I mean,
if anybody were to rebound from this type of injury, I think it'll be Marcus Lattimore.
But how many knee injuries has he had in the past? He's
had
had what, 2? Willis McGay, he only had one. That one big one at the end of his career.
Like I say, what are the odds of that happening like 3 and 4 times? Maybe he gets injured again. I don't see that happening again, and I don't see it being a reoccurring thing.
I just think he's not injury prone more than bad luck has happened to him.
That's bad.
I don't think he's really injury prone. No, the way he carries himself and the way he works out, I don't think he's malnourished or anything like that causes him to get injured. Like he doesn't work out enough. No, I think he more than anything dedicates himself to playing football. So I doubt that he is injury prone. I think he's going to be.
And the dude is hungry. I think. Just a year ago we were talking about him being the number one back in college football, number one back coming into the draft, and he gets injured, and all of a sudden he just,
he's just gone. He's not known of anymore. He was he a 5th round pick? Or
5th round pick. I think he's gonna be one of those backs that everybody forgot about, but he's gonna show everybody why they used to talk about him.
All right, guys, we're gonna do some quick hits over the games real fast. Review over the games real fast. We had Detroit beating Chicago, and Matthew Stafford proved that he was still the better quarterback, or Jake Cutler just showed that he chokes too much, and Reggie Bush is still a beast in that game. That's what I had. D-Flo, what games did you have that you watched?
Atlanta and New England. I saw Tom Brady once again take a receiving core that is nothing and turn it into something, and they pulled out a big win in Atlanta.
DT, your game that you have, you had?
Oakland got on by Shanahan once again. RG3 slowly improving, get back in the form he was in last season. Great game.
24-14. That's what the final score was. I had the Chokers against the Cowgirls, and that was a 30-21 win. And I thought that was more anything an upset by the Chokers. They won that game, or Tony Romo just being a choker himself.
Buccaneers, Cardinals, Glennon, interceptions at the end, more of the same.
Buffalo beating the team that beat Houston 23-20. That was a little bit of an upset.
Then
Flacco, 5 INTs.
the game of the week everybody was talking about, Indianapolis against Jacksonville, 37-3. 37-3. So that was just a wonderful game. I'm glad that aired on TV. Not.
Jacksonville, Denver. Can't wait.
Yep. 27-point favorites. Biggest spread in Las Vegas history.
Well, let me talk. Go ahead. What were you saying about to say?
I think the Broncos. Never mind. I'm not making any more stupid predictions.
No, it's fine. Everybody gets two.
No, Jacksonville is not playing Denver close. Not gonna happen.
Ever, never. Please don't even think about it.
Not happening.
Well, now I'm Tennessee Jets. The Jets are the Jets. They're going to beat these Jets, and I think the Tennessee Titans are for real. And I think the Tennessee Titans could be easily 4-0. They could easily beat a very, very overrated Texans team. And I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee has a better record at the end of the year than the Texans. But the fact that Jake Locker's out is probably going to hurt him. But I think the Tennessee Titans are for real. And in a contract year with, not really contract year for Jake Locker, but Mike Munchak. But
so
then
you think they're for real with Nate Washington and whoever else, Kendall Wright at wide receiver?
Kendall Wright, Justin Hunter, and
Justin Hunter, he's showing up.
Yeah, Justin Hunter had a touchdown this past game. He has he was already a clutch receiver in the San Diego game, I believe, and he's a very good receiver. And also
for the season.
Yeah. And then also Kenny Britt, I don't know how long he's out, but I don't know. The Tennessee Titans do have 3 all right receivers. Nate Washington. Thank you, referee, for having a long touchdown, but I'm touching on this Tennessee offense too much. I like their defense a lot better. I think their defense can hang. Alteron Verner's showing up to be a corner and locking down. Well, the Jets receivers really have nobody, and Geno Smith is pretty terrible at quarterback, doing his best Mark Sanchez impersonation and almost making his own butt fumble. But let's talk about the game tonight. Guys, it is New Orleans Saints against the Miami Dolphins, and I'm taking the New Orleans Saints because Drew Brees is 8-0 in the past Monday night games that he's played in.
Yeah, I'm taking the Saints too. I think Darren Sproles is going to come out and have a great game. I mean, the Miami Dolphins don't have anybody that can keep up with him, and I think he's just going to tear up the Miami defense.
I want to go with the Saints. They're going to win this one comfortably. I just don't see, like D-Flo said, I don't see Miami keeping up with this team. Drew Brees at home, prime time. I expect a lot of points, a lot of yards.
Yeah, and look for a big game from Jimmy Graham as well.
Oh, yeah. 2 touchdowns at least.
I'm going to go under that. I think he has 1.
I'm gonna say Miami.
I want to bet you. I bet you $1 million he's going to have at least 2 touchdowns against his Miami defense.
We don't. No. See, Texas, gambling's illegal in Texas. We don't do that.
I'm not gonna put any money on the score, but I think New Orleans scores more than 35 points, at least.
Think so?
Oh yeah.
Not this Miami defense. I don't like them as much.
Here's a good bet for you. Okay, Ryan Tannehill under or over 2 interceptions.
I want to say over.
Over or at. I'm gonna say at.
This Saints defense is back. They're much improved, very much improved from last year.
And I'm gonna go with I'm gonna say the Dolphins are. I don't know. This is tough competition. I think they've been easing by. I think they did get a good win against the Colts, but I don't know. Ryan Tannehill stepping up to be an all right quarterback so far from the 2012 draft, but
Mike Wallace had to step up. They want to win this game. They won't even have a
that's
chance.
what I'm saying. Don't count out the Dolphins just yet. I mean, Mike Wallace is energetic, and then of course one of the most underrated players in the league, Brian Hartline, always there, can catch the football.
yes, and also like the pickup they got with Sims at tight end from Michigan State. But I think the Dolphins are gonna miss Reggie Bush because what Reggie Bush has been doing so far with the Lions has been amazing. nonetheless.
The Saints are going to win this one comfortably by at least 3 touchdowns. I think Drew Brees is going to have a big night, no doubt about it.
Oh, I bet you that too. It's like I can see it now.
All right.
Now, that's it for today, guys. Tune in for us on Wednesday. No, tomorrow is Tuesday, and we are going to be talking about. We may do a redraft. We don't know what year, but send us what year do you want us to redraft for y'all? Do you want to do 2008? Nothing. 2011, 12, or this upcoming draft. Nothing like that. That is too early for us to determine what the teams, which direction they want to go. Do anything 2000? Huh?
2010. Shannon Sharp says 2010.
I believe it. Well, thank you, Shannon, for tuning in. And you will be a special guest for us on Thursday. Shannon, how do you feel about that? Are you available on Thursday?
You know what? I'm available anytime y'all need me. I'm a friend of the show. Like I said, I'm available Thursday. We're going to talk about the 2010 draft. We're going to have a good time. We're going to get real acquainted.
Oh, I bet we are going to get real acquainted.
I guess Darius had to go study for his exam, so.
That boy always studying.
All right, well, I'm G.
I'm DT.
I'm D-Flo.
Hey, where'd you come, DT? I thought you were studying. And we're out.
One love.